All right. I am Susan Appel, Executive Director of the Indie Learning Team, and today we have with us Kayla. And Kayla, I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about yourself. You're one of our Indie Learning Team tutors. You're trained in Orton Gillingham. You're a reading specialist, and we're interested to know more about you and why that training as being a reading specialist was important to you.
Yeah, for sure. Education has always been something that I'm passionate about. My grandma says that when I was in elementary school, I used to say that I wanted to be a teacher. And I don't remember saying it that young, but I do remember that in high school, I knew that I thought that I wanted to be a teacher. And so I participated in like cadet teaching. I went to Ball State for elementary education for a while before transferring to IUPUI. And while I was doing that, I got a job as a tutor with another program because I wanted to get experience in the classroom. And what I ended up seeing a lot was students who unfortunately were slipping through the cracks, working with students who were in the 5th grade but really couldn't read at all. And I remember all the time, I was like, how is this happening? You know, what's the answer? And so I ended up deciding that I didn't want to be a teacher, but that I wanted to pursue some type of career in like educational support for students. Teachers do an amazing job, you know, but the reality is that they have an entire classroom that they're responsible for. And so they can't always work one-on-one with the student and give them that individualized, you know, instruction that they need. And so I continued tutoring, knowing that that was something that I was really passionate about. And fast forward to now, you know, I met you about a year and a half ago. And I had not heard of, you know, OG before. I was not familiar with Orton Gilliam. And I remember learning about it and then going through the training and then working with students and seeing that it worked. And I just felt like this is an answer. You know, it's like, this is something that can help. And so I think it's very important because even for students without dyslexia, I think that it works and it's evidence-based. And so I have personally seen with my own eyes, students improve so much. And I think all students deserve to have that individualized instruction that they need. And again, that's why I think that it is so important.
Yeah, I love that you say that because, you know, research shows that the majority of students benefit from that explicit instruction, which is what Orton Gillingham is, and that they do better long term. And so, you know, it is not widely available to all students. And so it's exciting to me that you are having such an impact on kids. And on that note, you provide one-on-one tutoring twice a week for all the students that you work with. And can you give us a sense about what those sessions mean to the students and how do they feel about working with you?
So the sessions are definitely very meaningful for them. And so I had one student in the middle of a session out of nowhere, he was like, you know, this tutoring is helping me get better at math. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he said, well, now when I'm looking at my math work, I understand what I'm reading. And so he was able to make that connection that because although he was receiving reading instruction, because he was receiving that instruction, it was helping him to be stronger in math. And so, you know, not all students that I work with, you know, may articulate it that way, and they might not make the connection the way that he did, but they definitely feel more confident and you see it. And so I would say that it means a lot to the students. In addition, they have a lot of fun. I really like that with Orton Gillingham. There's a lot of ways to be creative and make it fun for the students. And so they have fun. Each student that I work with, they have their favorite parts of the lesson. So there's always a part that they can't wait to get to because they're so excited. And so they enjoy it. It makes the learning fun. Again, you see the confidence, even if they don't articulate it the way that that student did. And overall, you know, again, students are getting what they need. And so, I mean, it really does mean a lot to them.
Yeah, and I loved over winter break that all your students wanted to continue over that break, and their parents and grandparents said it's because they think it's fun. I mean, that shows what they're getting out of it and the confidence and the relationship that they have with you. Well, one of the things that I was shocked to learn when I started on the indie learning team journey was that 60% of all US fourth graders are below proficient in reading. And the reading struggle hits the low income Black and Brown communities harder. You put COVID on top of that, where schools are in and out, and parents and families are struggling with devices and internet to make remote school work, and it adds all these challenges. You had been tutoring one of your students remotely at one of our partners, and then they had to pivot to do learning pods, and so we had to switch to you tutoring him from virtually from his home. And the staff at the community center had some concern about whether he would show up or his behavior during the sessions, and you were really adamant that every student deserves a chance to try. Can you tell me more about why you felt so adamant about that, and kind of and how the tutoring with him has gone?
Sure. I saw a post on Facebook, and it said something like, COVID didn't create educational inequities, it exposed them. And so, like you said, that 60% of, fourth graders in the United States that are reading below grade level, it's not new. As shocking as it is, it's nothing new. And so the fact that, some people call it an achievement gap, when really it's an opportunity gap, because it's not that those students cannot learn to read at grade level. It's not that. It's just that they're often not provided with the opportunity to get the instruction that they need to be able to do that. And so knowing that is a reason that I was so adamant about, him having the opportunity to work from home. Like you said, you throw in the pandemic, like you mentioned, the challenges that are presented because of that. I feel that COVID, it doesn't just expose the inequities, but it's really making them worse. And so, again, I did feel that he does happen to be a student of color. He does happen to be reading below grade level. And so I just felt like I had to, at least he deserves the chance. I felt like he needed it. In addition, you think about the implications of 60% of students not reading at grade level. You think about the implications. The school to prison pipeline is real. The fact that Black and Brown students, especially those with learning disabilities, are suspended and expelled at higher rates than other students, you think about the implications of them missing classroom instruction and how they're going to be more likely to drop out of high school and, unfortunately, possibly end up in prison, right? The data doesn't lie. And so when you think about that, I again feel like not just that student, but all students, that is a reason why it is our responsibility as educators and those who work with students to advocate for them and make sure that if you have it in your power to give them some support or get them connected to some support, you should do that. And so that's what I would say to that question about, why did I, fight for him to get that chance? In regards to how it's going, it's amazing. He does show up, he does engage. He has a lot of fun. And so when I think about, in a classroom setting, because he, like a lot of other students, they're not gonna sit through an entire lesson and focus just on that lesson and not wanna talk about other things or, move around like they're kids. And so it's nice to be able to work with him individually because he likes to dance. He's always dancing. So we sing a song. I won't sing it now, but we sing a song and we spell some words together so that he can get up and dance a little bit. He likes to talk about food. And even though we might be in the middle of a blending drill and he's like, Miss Kayla, you want to know what I ate today? Like, okay, sure. Tell me what you ate today. And since we're doing a blending drill, let me show you how that word is spelled and let's blend it together. So it's really nice just to be able to, provide that instruction, tailor it to fit his needs, and then see the growth, see, like you said, that he's having fun. So it's going really well.
Yeah, and it's exciting for me to see the updates because I can feel that connection, and I think it reinforces that lesson that sometimes kids are acting out because they can't do the work. And if you can give them a path to be successful or to gain that confidence, it changes that behavior and their attitude. And there have been some articles about with COVID that one of the things that kids are missing is that connection with the adult, and I can feel that with you. One more thing I'm going to toss on you as a surprise that we didn't talk about before is you noted that if you have it in the power to provide more support. And, today starts a day where we are, and you are kind of leading the charge of, we're training 7 additional Black reading specialists. They're going to go through a 50-hour training. We're going to build a community around them, and then they're going to tutor at least 10 additional students each week starting in March. And I don't know I'm so excited about it and the impact that it's going to have around the Martin Luther King Community Center. They really are determined to make sure all their kids are reading on grade level. So we love their partnership. And I don't know if you have anything you want to add about it. I'm just so excited about it.
I'm very excited, and I actually didn't know that everyone was Black, and I think that that's powerful because I don't know the exact percentage off the top of my head, but I think it's like 80% of educators are white. And so we know that 80% of students in schools are not white, like, right? We live in such a diverse world. And so representation is so important and it matters. So students being able to work with someone who looks like them, or may have shared similar experiences to them when they were growing up in school, regardless of race. But things like that are very impactful. So I'm excited as well. I'm excited that, we're going to have these individuals who feel more empowered to support students and help and feel like we can be, those agents of change, that people say. I'm really looking forward to it. And I thank you for the opportunity and thank you for leading this because it's going to be amazing.
Well, I'm excited, and maybe we can come back together to talk about the impact that that's had in 6 months, because I'm excited to see. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, and I'm just always inspired and excited whenever I talk to you. It makes me motivated to go out and work harder to connect with more kids and generate more resources.
Likewise. So thank you. Thank you so much.